She caught you. She caught you. We're here live with the Dallas County Precinct Chair, Ms. Carol Donovan, and I think that's very important. Also, my man, Dr. Fred here, who has his own television and radio show, and a big-time political personality who we're also glad to have here as well. And I am Dr. Fred as well, Dr. Fred Jones, and we are here to get some questions answered on how we are going to make this thing work in 2020. So with that, Ms. Donovan, give us a little bit of who you are and what you're all about.
All right. Well, I'm Carol Donovan. I'm the Dallas County Democratic Party Chair and have served in this position for 4 years. And I'm glad we're talking about this because it's one of my very favorite topics. There is not a precinct chair in the Democratic Party that's not thinking about how we are going to attack this problem. And we can't just hope to have the kind of turnout and success that we did in 2018. And the Republicans have all sorts of reasons why the Democrats did so well in 2018, none of which have to do with our success. But I'm here to tell you that the reason we did so well in 2018 was because of Donald Trump. And we owe him a big thanks for our success in 2018. We hope that he contributes even more of a factor in 2020. Right now, we got a primary going on. So as you know, all the candidates who are running in the Democratic primary are focused on the March 3rd Texas primary. And then after that, when it is, we know what our nominees are going to be, then we're going to be going straight towards 2020.
Good, good. Dr. Fred, what do you got to think about? What do you say about all this?
Well, I'll just say this. I'll just be point blank, okay?
Oh, first of all, tell us your full name and what you do, please.
My full name is Frederick Douglas Lewis. I have a radio and now TV show. My background is a person involved in community organization in politics since I was 13 years old. I've elected, helped elect governors in Illinois, U.S. senators in Illinois, and then come to Chicago. As a matter of fact, the election in Illinois that stood out more than any other as far as senator, and that was the election of Colonel Mosley Brown. I was along with her cousin involved in getting out the church vote, and I'm not going to tell you how.
Okay, so things have to be made a secret.
But anyway, the thing is, right now, we have to pull out all the stops. The fact is that the choice is democracy or dictatorship. We have a sitting autocrat in the office as the President of the United States, and he wants probably to be crowned king. I would not put it past him.
I agree fully. And the reason why we're doing this is Esther Davis, Dr. Esther Davis, has brought all of us together because from a black media standpoint, we have to be more impactful and have more of a presence. And we also want to challenge the Democratic chair, the Democratic Party, because we know that the chair she is willing, but we need to challenge the Democratic Party to recognize us and fund us and allow us to be more of a voice and be more impactful so that we can do this thing moving forward. So with that being said, what are some of the main weaknesses, points of attack that you see, Carol, as far as how we go about getting this particular person out of office? Because personally, I don't want him impeached. I want him defeated. Now, impeachment has to go through the process because he has done something. He has violated the Constitution numerous times. So
He doesn't know what it is.
right. So the impeachment process is necessary from a fundamental standpoint. But I think the very best way to humiliate this man, other than to have him go crazy while he's talking and put him in a straitjacket, is to defeat him handily at the polls. How do you see that happening? starting with the primaries, because that's very important. I want you to talk about primary importance, because people don't understand the importance of primary voting.
Right. And first I want to say that if you don't read, it's hard to understand the Constitution. But with the primary, and I want to make sure I leave with the impression that we are working now on the 2020 election, even though so much of the focus out front is on the primary. I think it's important that Democrats continue, as they are right now, to focus on what issues the voters are concerned with, not to talk about how bad Trump is. The reason is twofold. Number one, people who vote for you want to know what you're going to do. They don't want to hear you badmouth, another candidate or an existing politician. The other reason why the Democrats don't need to be talking about how bad Trump is because Trump is burying his own grave. He has shot himself in the foot numerous times. I honestly believe that the reason why we're having the impeachment inquiry now as opposed to 2 years ago is because he's finally stepped in it. He has now done something so unconscionable as to be involving foreign nations for our foreign relations for his benefit. It flies in the face of all his denials in the past that Russia did not get involved. Well, now we know they probably did, if we didn't already believe that, because he is now confessed that he got the Ukraine involved, and he's also gotten China involved. So I suspect that there's a lot more information that's going to come forward, whether he tries to block it or not. So right now on the primary, Democrats need to function on the issues, what I call the living issues, things people need in their lives right now. And it's not just the infrastructure, it's putting food on the table, it's the economy. And despite what Trump is telling us, most of the economic advisors are telling us that the economy is very shaky, it's on the verge of crashing.
The problem that we have is that we have major issues in our country that need to be taken care of, such as infrastructure. We really need to make sure that the medical issue is addressed. I'm not talking about anything outlandish, but a person need not have to go to bankruptcy court because they have an illness and they need treatment. There are other issues, but the problem that we have is that sometimes we get confused by the hype. And this is the biggest hypester that I've ever seen in my life, in addition to being the world's greatest liar. I'll tell you, when his mouth is moving, he's lying.
And I think what's important for you now, Carol, is that you're able to outline for a public that never hears from you or doesn't know who you are, your vision, your goals for how you want this to move forward. And one of the things that I'm interested in, we kind of touch bases on it, is looking at a population that never gets, that's untapped, and not look at that as being returning men and women from incarceration.
That's right. There's a big problem there. A lot of people who have had confinement don't understand that when they get off paper that they can vote. I don't think they're told that, or perhaps it's not explained to them, but that is a group of people who definitely need to be able to vote. We also have talked about the millennials and younger. We've been talking about millennials so long, it's hard to believe that there's people able to vote beyond that. But we're talking about young Americans who are able to vote, who don't always vote. And what we need to do is increase our efforts on voter registration, whether we end up going to the high schools and or the colleges and having events in those areas and helping them understand the importance of one vote.
Which means getting into the schools.
Yes.
The suggestion was brought up about having a voter registration card in their graduation packet. Civics class, government, because we had to take government class. We took civics. We took politics. And being from Cleveland, I remember very distinctly when Carl Stokes, and you remember when Carl Stokes was elected.
I sure do.
Okay. Now, in the 60s, to have the fact that there was a good black population, but that means you had to have somebody else out there as well to get for the first black man elected, because we didn't necessarily have the numbers. So how do we create those strategies that has worked in Chicago, that has worked in Cleveland, that has worked in Philly, worked once or twice here in Dallas? And one other issue I have is, how do we train and get new bodies, new life into running for public office, so that we don't have to keep recycling the same people that are doing a good job, but we need fresh faces in there, I think.
Right. We've been very lucky in Dallas County getting fresh faces, and I think part of that is because Dallas County is blue, so people don't feel so overwhelmed about running for office. It used to be, can a Democrat even win, was your first inquiry, and then, can I win? And in this case, the first question has gone away. I mean, this 2018 election with the blue wave proved that not only is Dallas County blue, but it is getting bluer and bluer. We look at the results of that election, where Democrats won 12 of 14 state representative positions. We took back a congressional seat. We took back a state senate seat. We took back the district attorney seat. We won every single court of appeals position on the ballot, and we won every county-wide race on the ballot. So new folks are not shy about getting involved. In fact, we had a bunch of new state rep positions come in to Dallas, people that had not previously held a position. And so that has been a real shot in the arm for Dallas County. I think it's encouraged even more young people to run. And when I say young people, I realize that there's a vast range of what we might call young people, but people who, as you say, are new to the party.
Right. The other thing that we must be able to do is build that, for lack of a better term, that grand coalition that brings people, that galvanizes people and bring them together. Because if we don't, it's fairly easy to forecast that we'll be dealing with the same person for another 4 years, which will be a nightmare, believe me.
So, well, how do you see that becoming into fruition?
First of all, I think one of the best ways to do it is to take our presidential candidates into a meeting whereby there's a commonality of purpose, and get them to agree that we're not going to make it by beating up on each other. The way to make it is, you have an idea, I have an idea, let's see where we can work and can we find some common ground. If we get into, I think I'm going to use my the old folks saying, if you get into a pissing match with a skunk, you're not going to win. Okay.
And what do you think, Carol, is some of the strategies that we can use? Let's talk about one that we were just kind of talking about. We know that that person is coming to Dallas here next week for a rally, and we know that our guy, Mr. Beto, is having a rally. So how do we generate people going there? How do we create new, how can I say, how do we generate new groups of people that are energized and that we can hold them for a 2-year energy rush, not a sugar rush, but a good, strong energy rush? How do we do that, and what do we do to help you make that happen?
I would refer to that as a sustainable energy rush.
Yes.
Because that's how it feels when you're working on an election. Sometimes it feels like it's a long time coming, but there is an ending to it, and you've got to just work as hard as you can so that when you look back, you know you did everything you could. You mentioned the rally. An example is that Dallas County Democratic Party immediately announced we were going to have a rally at the same time as Donald Trump's rally. Then when Beto O'Rourke announced that he was going to have a rally in Grand Prairie at the Verizon Theater on that same night at 6 o'clock, he had his team contact the Dallas County Democratic Party and invite us to participate in his rally. Well, I had about that much thinking that I had to do about joining in on his rally, because the best thing for the Democratic Party is to get as much publicity as possible and as many people as possible in one place. And we can do that better by being part of O'Rourke's rally.
Now, with that, as we go back to what our conversation is, how do we get, and how do you utilize the black press, the black media, the black social family, the social media family? How do you use that to help you make this happen as well? Because if we're not involved in the process, then we can't take part in the fight.
Right, that's right. And first of all, I want to give credit to the black press, because I had the privilege of meeting with individuals involved in the black press, and I got out of that meeting a lot of really good ideas. One idea is to have an exchange of communication where the Dallas County Democratic Party lets y'all know about any kinds of events that are coming up, and y'all let us know about events that are coming up, of which you're aware. And it may not be something that the two groups are sponsoring themselves. It may be just information on something that's going on that each other needs to know. And then another way that we communicate is to be able to have a sustaining, a consistent relationship, not just one meeting, but to continue to have meetings and sharing of ideas. That is going to be what really makes it work.
Exactly. That will make the difference.
Well, I think that we have, I am excited about, what is it the 11th of October? It is the
Yes,
October.
that's right.
I think that we have about 5 more minutes, and I think that today, October 11th, 2019, may be that breaking point for us, because we have been sitting back for a long, long time. I know I talked with Dr. Davis and Dr. Lewis here, and we try and figure out how do we get this thing going, and Cheryl Smith and everybody else, and Mr. Michael Anthony Johnson here, who has allowed us at his wonderful studio, and I didn't even know that he was doing what he was doing. That you know some of the disconnect that we even have amongst ourselves.
And didn't he get broadcast for the year recently?
In Atlanta.
Right.
We have to change that so we can sit here in Dallas. So, but let's get some final viewpoints here. And Dr. Fred, I am so interested because I now can look at you as a mentor, because we have crossed paths, but today is one of the first times that we've had an opportunity to really engage, sit down and talk and find out our commonalities, and that we are on the same wavelength. So I like to look at you now as a new mentor for myself. So what
Just
you
say
want-
yes.
You can't say no because, Cleveland, Chicago, we're trying to make this work now. This is, we gotta,
It'll work.
we gotta make, we're
It'll
making
work.
this work.
And you
So-
got Dallas in the center here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dallas in the center. So,
All right.
what do you give me 3 strategic points or 3 strategies that you would like to see implemented?
First of all, I would want to see extensive training with regard to the Democratic Party. Everything, let me phrase it this way, I served in the Marines, okay? You know how you win a battle? You win and you have backup tactics, okay? And you move forward as a unit. Not everybody going willy-nilly, okay? The other thing is that there are more things and issues that bring us together than there are that divide us. We must recognize that. And the other thing is that we have to understand is, we've heard this before over and over again, this election is crucial. Well, the most crucial election in our lifetime is coming up in 2020.
Amen.
Because the choice will be, we're going to have democracy or dictatorship.
All right, Carol, give us your views, your points. This is your platform. Tell us what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
All right. Well, I normally would be nervous about revealing my secrets for fear that the Republicans might get a hold of them, but the information I'm about to share is really quite ordinary. In 2018, there was a lot of disruption. A lot of people pointing the fingers at the other about why Trump won. There was a lot of new groups. They even called themselves pop-up groups because they had just popped up after Trump had won. And so I made it a mission to go around and talk to each of these groups, to form a unity council, to ask each group to send in a representative of that unity council so that we could communicate together. And I basically told them, we don't always agree on everything, but by golly, we all agree that Trump has got to go. So we got together and we worked together, not just in talking, but also in field work and calling on, phone calls to Democrats and independents. So by working together, we were able to really increase the energy of that blue wave. And I believe that we're going to do that again with not just those groups, but with bringing in a lot of other groups that have not traditionally been involved with the Dallas County Democratic Party.
There you have it.
All right.
There you have it. It's a new day, October 11th, 2019. That's what I said. Anyway, we just want to just thank you again for having the courage and the conviction and the dedication to your responsibility to come out here and meet with us. That was very, very important. Major kudos to you, because we will now with confidence say that we have somebody that's in position that does not only hear us, but is listening to us and is true to her word and to what she says she's going to do.
Thank you. We're partners.
All right.
Thank you very much.